Now that you've added all of those checklist questions to your data component, we want to add those to our digital form. Now throughout Pulpstream, whenever you want something available for use later, we create that data component to make it available throughout the platform. But before we move on to our form, you may have noticed that two of the questions in our checklist have a not applicable option in the label. So specifically, the questions about loose clothing and jewelry have a not applicable label. Now, not applicable labels need scores too. And we can't assign those as 0 because we can't have options with the same values. So let's assign that value of 0.0001, which essentially is 0 when rounded, but it's different enough not to create errors. So that's going to be useful to us later on as we're creating rules to score these question answers. So now that we have all of our checklist questions in our inspection data component, let's add those to our form. So we're going to click Save Our Changes, and we're going to go back to our stream definition canvas. We're going to go to our form section. Hover your mouse over the inspection form to show that edit button right here, and then click on it to edit the safety inspection form. Now we're going to start off in our web/mobile layout tab. And here you'll see a page named General. We're going to want to add 3 new pages. And I accidentally clicked one page too many, but I'll just delete that later, no big deal. So we're going to rename these based on the type of questions that we put into our checklist. So we're going to do preparedness for the first page. We're going to do PPE requirements for the second page. And then for the third one, we're going to do submission. And this one we will delete. So let's go back to the general form to start modifying it. Notice that whenever you hover your mouse cursor over any of these items, you're going to see dotted lines and a pencil icon show up. This lets you know that that field is editable. So let's go ahead and make all of these fields required by clicking on the edit icon, going to the field attributes, and selecting required from the pull down menu. So we're going to click that. And you'll notice that there's a red asterisk next to the title of that field, and that tells you that that field is not required. So let's do that for our inspection data as well as our GPS coordinates. Go to our field attributes, click required, GPS coordinates, field attributes required. Now in our GPS coordinates display as option, we got a couple of options here. We're going to want to go with geolocation stamp, but while we're here, let's go ahead and talk about what some of these options are. So that way you get familiarized with the customization options that you've got here in your GPS coordinates pull down menu. So the first one is text field. Text field. This is a default field that enables users to type in a short amount of text. Text area is going to enable users to type in multiple lines of text. A barcode scanner is exactly what it sounds like. You're going to use this option to enable inspectors out there to scan barcodes with their mobile devices. Geolocation. This will tell Pulpstream to keep track of where the user goes as they move around with their mobile device. And geolocation stamp is basically a stamp. As soon as the form is launched, Pulpstream auto-detects the location and stamps the form with it. And we're going to go ahead and select that one because that's the one that we want. And you notice here that we have the option to customize any associated map dimensions that will display in our web interfaces. We can customize the height, we can customize the width, we can add some field hints, but we're going to leave those alone for now and just go ahead and save our changes. Now all of our fields are required here. And notice that on the right-hand side, we've got a lot of available fields. These are essentially the things that we made earlier in our data component. So we've got all of our questions from our checklist here, and we've also got that signature of submitter item, which I dare to say 3 times fast, which will be available in our fields for later use. So go ahead and, while we're talking about it, let's put that on our submission form because we're not going to save the best for last. We're going to drag and drop that over into our form. And in this pop-up menu, we're going to see a couple of options. The most important one is the display as option. Now, since a signature in its electronic form is essentially a photo, we need to tell Pulpstream what type of image it is. So it's a signature, and we're going to make that required because we want somebody to sign off on it and make it official and legally binding. So we're going to save our changes to that and go to our preparedness question. Now we're going to drag and drop the preparedness questions from our available fields onto this page. So, fire department visit the facility. Yes, let's make it required. There's at least one front, yes. And we're going to go down the line doing this for all of our checklist items that are related to preparedness. Great. Now for our PPE requirements page, go ahead and click on that. And again, we're going to want to drop in these questions into the digital form. We're going to make these required, so no questions get skipped. And I'm going to assume that you're following along with me as I'm doing this, so you can build your own work stream. I'm ready to save this. First, safety inspection form in the books. Save our changes. And we are ready to publish our workstream. So we're going to go ahead and check that in into the check and comments for safety inspection check-in. Add notes so that way if anybody looks at the logs later, they can see why we checked it in or checked it out. And this is helpful whenever things are being updated later or a new team member comes into play and needs to know what's going on. So from here, we're going to click publish. And we're going to select the forms that are going to be available to users to start the stream flow. And here you can select a catalog folder to start organizing some of these things. So I've got 2 folders here that I have created for other things. Let's make a new one. Call it safety 2017. Add a couple of comments that are relevant to your workflow. Make sure that you select the catalog folder if you make a catalog folder to organize it in. And that's it. We have created a workstream and we can go ahead and start to test our new inspection form. So we want to do that, we can go back to our home page. And from here, basically take a walk in the inspector's shoes. We see our safety inspection form here, and under the submit new form button, and we would click on that to start going through all of the things that our inspector out there in the field would go through. As you can see, our GPS coordinates auto stamps my location. And all of those questions that you put into those pages are now tabs in your digital inspection form. So go ahead and test yours out and take a walk in your inspector's shoes.